It's November 27th. JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today and the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, so sit back, relax, and let's dive on in. Because Michael Saylor is out here firing off bangers once again, reminding everyone that Bitcoin is simple. One asset, one mission, one direction over time. We're talking no drama, no gimmicks. This is just digital property for 8 billion people. And while most of the world is distracted, Strategy just keeps doing his thing in the background, stacking sats and tightening that float. Zinx is dropping chart after chart, showing exactly what Saylor's talking about. Supply getting squeezed, long-term hodlers not budging. The price action looks a lot more like coiling than quote-unquote collapsing. Ragnar jumps in to translate all into plain English. Bitcoin's just getting started. Rohan walks us through the rails being built out under the hood while the Bitcoin therapist checks in on our mental game. Don't freak out. Zoom out. Hugh and Erme add flavor to the macro, showing how the old system keeps pushing people slowly but surely towards something harder, cleaner, and more honest. Bottom line, Bitcoin's not yelling right now, but it's definitely speaking. So let's dive on in to Michael Saylor, who wants us to fight, 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 fight. This is time to fight because guess what? They are fighting against us. The Jamie Dimons of the world, the JP Morgans of the world, they are joining the Bitcoin revolution, but in a very submersive way. More on that later. Michael Saylor says volatility is vitality. End of story. I've said it 1,000 times on this show over the past year plus. Volatility is vitality. Volatility is a gift to the faithful. You must be willing to hang on tight. We have an absolutely great post from Zinx, who says Metaplanet kicks off the trading day in Tokyo with a 6.5% gain. The MNAV is now up to 0.98. The Bitcoin treasuries need to see Bitcoin have a sustained move to the upside before they can really get going again. But Metaplanet approaching a 1 MNAV is a good sign. Great start to the day. And being a Metaplanet shareholder, I can agree with Ragnar as well. Good morning from Europe, as Metaplanet is at 6.56% up in close. Let's go. Rohan says, yesterday's convo was about JPM feeling pressure from strategy digital credit products. This morning, JP Morgan unveiled their own Bitcoin-backed structured notes. We're living through the financial system updating in real time. Blink and you'll miss it. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, they saw that Michael Saylor had won the game, that he was so far ahead. They're doing everything they can to tear him down back to the starting line so that they can catch up, but it's too late. They realize it. Now they're just going to be releasing some crappy lookalike products that aren't nearly as good, that have fees on top of them, that have caps and limits and all this stuff. And guess what? Michael Saylor is not just winning, he's won. Zinc says there's less than 10,000 people in the world who truly understand what this means. Congratulations to all of you who helped through the difficult times and put in the work to learn. This time next year, prefers will be doing billions of volume every single week. And this is all about the preferred effective yields, just absolutely crushing it. I mean, best products in the world. Zinc says buying stretch at $92 was the easiest trade I've had all year. It's now trading at $97.40. It was obvious it was going to go trade back up to a par at 100. When it does, I'll pocket the 8.7% capital gain. The market just doesn't know how to price risk. I'll continue making this trade for as long as the market allows me. And this is the biggest no-brainer, because if you think that Michael Saylor is not going to push stretch back up to 100, you don't understand Michael Saylor. You don't understand strategy. You don't understand the strategy. Of course he is. It's going to happen every single time, so we have to take opportunities like this. We just have to hopefully have cash available to do it when the opportunities arise. The Bitcoin therapist says, so JP Morgan sells shares of MSTR, increases margin requirement from 50 to 95%, pushes for strategies exclusion from the MSCI index, has a history of manipulating the Bitcoin price, calls for a lower price, waits for a 35% drawdown, and announces a Bitcoin-backed bond. And this is just a coincidence? No, it's dirty, it's filthy, and it's what JP Morgan does. And they have now capitulated. Zinc says everything we thought Bitcoin was going to be in 2025 is going to happen in 2026. Let's just add this to the list by Kobasi. One, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars are pouring into Bitcoin via strategy and Metaplanet preferreds. It's probably going to be billions in 2026. Big banks are making their moves to facilitate investment into Bitcoin via the ETFs and new products like the JP Morgan Bitcoin bond that was just announced. Texas became the first state to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. More states to come, and the U.S. Strategic Reserve is potentially to follow. 4, nation states and sovereign wealth funds like Abu Dhabi's continue to buy Bitcoin and accelerate their accumulation. 5, the Fed is officially ending QT, and all the fuel for Bitcoin to have a stellar 2026 is just sitting there right in front of us. And Kobasi was like, The U.S. is preparing for $2,000 stimulus checks. Japan is preparing a $110 billion stimulus package. China approved a $1.4 trillion stimulus package. The Fed is ending QT on December 1st. The U.S. is issuing $1.9 trillion in treasuries this year. Canada is restarting its quantitative easing program. Global M2 money supply is at a record $137 trillion. The global rate cuts are at 320 plus over the last 24 months. And somehow you're bearish? Come on. Hugh says, eventually the market will wake up to this fact. Strategy is more Bitcoin. Anybody that says Bitcoin per share doesn't matter is retarded. The only thing, it's the only thing that matters. And that was a response to a strategy post, which is, we discovered something better than Bitcoin. More Bitcoin. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Erme says, JPM is becoming a Bitcoin bank is kind of a big deal. MSTR is going to fly. And again, this is the article about JP Morgan introducing a structured note linked to BlackRock's IBIT that matches Bitcoin's 4-year halving cycle. Blah, 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 blah. It's going to suck. Please don't buy it. But other people will, and that'll be good for Bitcoin. Zinx, the only thing better than Bitcoin is more Bitcoin. That's why we allocate a small portion of our stack to Bitcoin treasuries who compounds our Bitcoin absolutely all day. And Zinc says, when you trace most of the problems in society to its root cause, you'll always end up at broken money. When you look for solutions to most problems of society, you'll almost always end up at sound money. Bitcoin is a moral imperative. Why? Because it's sound money. And now I have an epic video clip from Michael Saylor you're not going to want to miss. He just joined CoinDesk the other day and drops some bangers. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Senator Cynthia Lummis recently announced that funding for a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve can start anytime. This is a massive step forward for a strategic crypto stockpile, and no surprise, was soon followed by a new all-time high for Bitcoin. If you're looking to buy more Bitcoin, BitIRA can help. In fact, BitIRA will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into Bitcoin. This also allows you to buy Bitcoin using pre-tax funds, then continue to invest in it over time as you do any other retirement account. And if you want, you can even add XRP, Ethereum, or other cryptos. BitIRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and is registered with the US government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Think about this. In March, President Trump signed an executive order for the Treasury to manage 200,000 Bitcoin as the foundation for a reserve. That's just the foundation. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin. Fire Nation, when you want more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, more success, it all starts with Northwest Registered Agents. These legends have been helping entrepreneurs launch and grow their businesses for nearly 30 years. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S. with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your state's laws and actually care about helping you win. With Northwest, you can build your complete business identity, everything from what your customers see to what they don't, operating agreements, meeting minutes, compliance paperwork, and more. You'll get thousands of free resources, lawyer drafted forms, and step-by-step guides all in one place, and you don't even need to create an account to access them. Best part, privacy is automatic. Northwest never sells your data and handles everything in-house. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free.
There are those people that run from the fires, and then there's people that put the fire in the automobile or the jet airplane. And we kind of need the people to build the airplanes and build the automobiles if we're going to move the civilization forward. So the volatility comes with the territory.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen Sanasi, and you're watching CoinDesk. Bitcoin came close to $80,000 today, and strategy shares are trading almost 70% down from where they were a year ago. Joining me now is strategy chairman Michael Saylor to talk about how he's looking at markets today. All right, Michael, Bitcoin is at around $80,000 this morning. My first question to you is, how much did you buy today?
I can't speak about that. We release that on a routine basis via 8Ks. But what I can say is on Monday morning of this week, we did buy $830 million worth of Bitcoin. So our last buy was just a few days ago, and it was quite a lot.
This is not a typical Q4 for Bitcoin. I mean, how are you watching the markets? Where do we go from here? We know that you are extremely bullish and all in, but what is a day like today? How does that impact you? What are you feeling today?
As I say, volatility is vitality. Bitcoin is a volatile asset. If you're going to hold the asset, you need a 4-year time horizon as minimum. A 10-year time horizon is really the right time frame. If your time horizon is less than 4 years, you should hold the credit instruments like digital credit. And if you're an equity investor in a digital equity like my company, you need that same 4 to 10-year time horizon. 4 is the short term, 10 years is the long term. I'm an officer of a publicly traded company. And what are we doing? We are in the business of buying a high energy, highly volatile asset and stripping the risk and the volatility off of it in order to sell it to people that are much more risk adverse, that are much more volatility adverse, that just want that yield. And so if Bitcoin wasn't volatile, it probably wouldn't be high performance. And then our value added wouldn't be that great, right? Like, for example, I say to people, if you knew Bitcoin was going to go up 2% a month forever with no volatility, neither you nor I would be in business, because all the conventional finance investors, all the conventional journalists, they would dominate the market. Warren Buffett would own all of it, and there wouldn't be an opportunity for us. So I look at the volatility as it's a challenge, but it's also the bug is the feature. And I say to people, volatility is Satoshi's gift to the faithful. He basically gave you the ability to rise to the top of your profession as an analyst, as a journalist, as a corporate operator, as an investor. And if the volatility goes away, no one cares about your opinion on any of this. It's like, you've got fire, and we've got the phrase burned. Fire burns you and electricity shocks you. And Henry Ford created an automobile, with a burning engine, with a fire in the engine. And we created electronic transmissions. And so you put electricity and fire in the car, and you've got a killer consumer product. And I think the key here is you got to look at this market and say, this is indicative of energy. You can harness the energy. You can't be scared of the energy, right? There are those people that run from the fires, and then there's people that put the fire in the automobile or the jet airplane. And we kind of need the people to build the airplanes and build the automobiles if we're going to move the civilization forward. What's the second best? There is no second best.